Hey everybody, here we are again at about 12:30 on a Saturday night. Um, my son is asleep. My daughter is at my parents' house, and I thought, instead of going to sleep and waking up 30 minutes later to feed him, I'll just stay awake until he wakes up, and then I can go to sleep and get a good 3 or 4 hour stretch, hopefully. So I thought, while I'm doing that, let's go ahead and try to do another one of these AP FRQs. Now, I got some good news. Um, I figured it out, and I got some Conway Twitty playing in the background. So let's go ahead and look at the 2004 FRQ number one, and that's significant because that's the year I was in high school, or the year I graduated high school. Not that I was smart enough to take AP Macro, and it was also not offered, so we're going to go with that one instead of me not being smart enough. But go ahead and pull up the 2004 FRQ number one if you can, and read along with me so we can get this figured out. Okay, I'm going to try to be gentler with my clicking this time too. So I know that was obnoxious, but whatever. Here we go. Number one, assume that the United States economy is operating at less than full employment. We just did one of these. Using a correctly labeled aggregate demand and aggregate supply graph, show the following. We've got to show full employment output, output, and current price level on ADAS. So let's go ahead and draw. As you can see, I've already got the format set up here. I used my iPad to draw these perfect lines. So, but the screen recording was goofing up on the iPad and it was a little more complicated. So I thought I would just do it on my laptop. So we're going to have some funky looking lines, but whatever, that's all right. You can figure it out. So we draw our upward sloping aggregate supply curve and our downward sloping AD. Oh yeah, those are beautiful. Let's go ahead and pick a different color. And again, we are at, what does it say, less than full employment. So our short line equilibrium should be to the left of full employment. This is the LRAS, and it represents full employment. Let's go ahead and label these graphs here. So we've got AD, SRAS, and LRAS. All right, let's go ahead and put them where they go. AD is going to go down here. If you can't remember where AD goes at this point after 18 weeks, then you're in rough shape. Okay. Oh, commercial. I don't want to listen to commercial. I just want to listen to Conway. We'll just go ahead and pause that then. So we've got our correctly labeled graph here. Now we have to label our price level. So let's go ahead and put that over here. We label that as PLE, price level equilibrium. Doesn't really remember what matter. They don't tell us what to label it as here. So as long as you label it as the same thing, it's fine. So we have YE for equilibrium quantity. And then we need to label our full employment output as YF. All right, so there's the correctly labeled graph. Okay, that's all the points for point part A. All right, I think the ad's over. Good news. Conway will be back shortly, I think. Maybe. I'm wasting way too much time on this. There we go. We got some Desperado love playing. All right, so that was part A. All 3 points. Labeled it, labeled it, labeled it. And if we want to, we probably should too. I can't draw dotted lines, so I'm just going to draw that there and that there, showing that we are below potential output. We have higher unemployment, and our price level is right here. Part B says identify an open market operation that could restore full employment in the short run. Open market operations are buying and selling bonds. Well, we want to get back to full employment, so we need to shift the 80 to the right. So we need expansionary monetary policy. Monetary policy is changing the money supply. So expansionary monetary policy involving bonds. So I'm going to go down here and just draw a quick, that was good. Draw a quick, nope, that's not that curve. draw a quick money market graph. The supply curve is not upward sloping. It is straight up and down like that. And we have a normal looking demand curve. So this is interest rates. Interest rates. Man, I'm killing it over here. So we want to cause 80 to shift right. So we want more investment spending. Well, to get more investment spending, we need lower interest rates. So we need to shift the supply curve to the right. And you don't have to draw any of this. I'm just doing it to kind of help make sense. Okay. So this causes our interest rates to decrease. And now the question is which open market operation causes our interest rates to decrease? So I want to increase the money supply, because that's what's going to cause the money supply to increase. And I always think, okay, if I'm the Fed, how do I increase money supply? I give you money and I take your bonds, so I am buying your bonds. You don't have to explain. All you have to do is write buy bonds. Okay? And that is the answer to part B, and that's how you get your point for part B. Part C is using a correctly labeled graph of the money market, show how the open market operation you identified in part B affects interest rates in the short run. So, yeah, I guess I just kind of did that, didn't I? Well, let's go ahead and do it again then. So we need to label our money market graph with nominal interest rates. Nominal, let's just put that to save some space. Nominal interest rates, make it a little bigger so we can actually see it. Turn it sideways just for some space here. And then down here on the bottom is always quantity. Let's copy and paste that. Move it down here and spin it. So we have quantity of money, just quantity should be fine. Conway's on another ad. I'm watching it on YouTube, so sorry about that. Next time I'll have it ready. And let's go ahead and just mock up what we drew down here a second ago. So let's draw our downward sloping AD and get a different color and draw our straight up and down supply curve and label it as supply. And move it down where it goes. Move that one down here. That one's demand. Okay, so the question says, using a correctly labeled graph of the money market, which is a correctly labeled graph right there, show how the open market operation you identified in part B affects interest rates in the short run. So we just need to do exactly what we just did. Draw, where's it? There we go. Draw that there. Let's copy and paste this. Make it S2. And now we have to show it. Now this is what I was getting on everybody about earlier. Whenever you have to show it, you have to show it over here on the axis. Okay? So here is our interest rate. Make it real small. I'm even going to make it interest rate 1. And then let's copy and paste it. Make it interest rate 2. And then this, I wish I could have draw a dotted line on here. The app on the iPad is a little bit better. It has a little bit more features, but it's a little more complicated. So there we go. So that shows that interest rates drop because of the increase in the supply curve of supply of money. So that should get us our point for there. Yep. Explain how the change in interest rate you identified in part C will affect aggregate demand. So basically we just have to explain how this is going to affect this. So again, don't need to draw anything for this. We need to just to explain it. So we put lower interest rates result in higher levels of investment. Investment is a determinant of AD. So increased investment shifts AD to the right. You could probably sum that up shorter than I did, but that's one way to put it. Okay. Let's make it a little bigger so we can see it. Lower interest rates result in higher levels of investment. Investment is a determinant of AD, so increased investment shifts AD to the right. Yep, so that's good. That'll get that point. And then letter E, show on the graph in part A how the change in the interest rate you identified in part C will affect output and price level. So we don't need to write anything here. We just have to draw on this graph again. So let's draw. Let's see. Let's pick a different color. Let's use red. So we have to show the effect, which is the AD curve shifting right. Ooh, that didn't work out that well. AD curve is going to shift to the right. So let's copy and paste this AD and put it over here, the 2 behind it. And then we just need to show the new price level, which we will label as PL2. And we had this problem earlier where we had the same point labeled twice. Looking on the AP scoring guide, they just didn't label it again on this one. They just left it as YF. If you wanted to put Y2, I don't think it would be a problem, so I'm going to. But if you just left it as YF, that might work too. Okay, and then I'm going to draw the line going to the new point there. Okay. So that should be point E. Show how the change in interest rate will affect output and price level. Yep. So we have a new output and we have a new price level. Okay. And then F. Instead of the open market operation in part B, suppose that no policy actions are taken to address the unemployment problem. With flexible prices and wages, explain how each of the following will eventually change: the short run aggregate supply and the output and price level. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this stuff over here just so it's not getting in our way. I'm probably going to leave one little spot up here and someone's going to say, oh, I'm ADD. I need you to get rid of that for me. But I don't care. In fact, I'm just going to do it just to spite you. Look, I'm going to leave that one right there. Bam. So deal with that. So F1 is short run aggregate supply. So basically, if we ignored that this is here, maybe I should draw a quick thing here. And look, I'm going to draw over this. Ooh, that's really going to bother you. So we have our recessionary gap, which we were supposed to draw. It's basically just saying what's going to happen in the long run if we don't do anything, if the government does nothing. So this is where we talk about the economy self-correcting itself. Well, if the economy self-corrects, then the SRAS will shift to the right because we have, let's see if I can draw. Yeah, that wasn't very good. Some dotted lines, not too bad. I've seen worse dotted lines. We have high unemployment because we're making less stuff. We are below full employment. So that means we have high unemployment, and that means that bosses don't have to pay their workers very much. So with lower wages, AS is going to shift to the right. Okay, so it says explain how each of the following, but on the guide it didn't say. I think it just meant explain what happens as far as just tell us what happens. It doesn't really say explain why. So it says explain how. So I don't know. We'll just write it out just to be fancy here. Okay. So we say that due to high unemployment, wages decrease. Wages are a cost of input, so that shifts the SRAS to the right. Bam. Put that over here at F1. And now F2 says output and price level. So basically explain what happens to output and price level. So if SRAS shifts to the right, output increases because now they can afford to make more stuff, and price level is going to decrease because when you supply more of anything, the price is going to go down. And again, I don't think that they, the AP test made you do this in 2004. They just wanted you to explain what happened, but we're just going to go above and beyond just to make sure. So what did we say happens here? when a SRAS shifts to the right, output increases due to companies being able to produce more with low wages. Also, price level decreases when supply increases. Bam. So there are all of our points. This one looks all right. I think it looks better with the straight lines. So maybe I'll try doing it like this if we keep doing it. So there you have it. Here's how you get all your points on the 2004 FRQ number 1. So hopefully you guys are doing well with these. Hopefully it's working out. And hopefully all this made sense. If it doesn't, ask me questions. And if it did, then go check out Conway Twitty. See ya.